I know it's here somewhere. Finally. Oh, it's time for the doctor. You're listening to Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Take it away, doctor.
Well, it's that time again, and the doctor is in. It's time once again for Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. And this week, we have a few things to talk about, some of which I'm not really excited to talk about, but we're going to talk about them anyway. Anyway, let me get my cord taken care of here. That's what you hear rattling occasionally, is the cord rattling. Anyway, technical issues. We are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network. TechPodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. We are also proud members of the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. As you well know, we're talking about security issues this week. And not because I want to. Okay? But we've got some interesting things out there. Some of them border on, dare I say, geek culture. Because there's some humor in some of these. Maybe unintentional, but there is some humor. At any rate, first thing we're going to look at, the very first item. An AI, that's artificial intelligence for those of you in Rio Linda. But anyway, an AI that can clone your voice in 5 seconds. Now, I encourage you to watch this YouTube video that I have on the blog. The blog, of course, in question is drbill.tv, drbill.tv, as it says there on the screen. At any rate, watch this video and see how just some text can be read by this artificial intelligence, and they can, well, it's a combination of several things. Read the text, but also sample 5 seconds worth of audio of a speaker speaking, which you could acquire, for instance, for me, right off of this program. And then you run it through this AI, and you can have it say through your text info pretty much anything you want it to say. Now, I asked the question, can you think of uses for this from a security or social engineering perspective? For instance, if I were to call up my wife and say, "Hi there, what was the password on that bank account again?" You know, normally she would not give that to any Joe Blow, but she knows my voice. And so she might say, "Oh, don't you remember it's such and such?" And then, you know, I might say, "Oh, yeah, that's right." You know, and I try not to ask those kinds of questions. That's a dumb question to ask, by the way. That's just a little pro tip for you. But you see the problem. How you could use this technology to do some social engineering hacks, shall we say, that would not be good. The outcome would be problematic. Okay? All right, next item. A security expert, and I put that in quotes because I don't know her credentials. Okay? She may well, in fact, be a security expert. However, I found her comments humorous, and so I thought I would share them with you in the blog, the aforementioned drbill.tv, in a YouTube link where she reads her responses to questions that were sent via Twitter, the Twitter tweet. Okay. She explains, they ask the question, what's a red hat hacker, a black hat hacker, and a white hat hacker? And she said, well, I know what a black hat hacker and a white hat hacker is. I don't know about a red hat. Obviously, it's in relation to Red Hat Linux that someone heard the term red hat and somehow got it confused with black hat, white hat. And in fact, she talks about gray hat hacking. Now, her example of gray hat hacking is a security professional by day, that goes home in the evening and hacks people's systems. Okay, I guess that would be gray. I tend to think that's a black hat hacker that has a day job. Really. I mean, after all, let's get just a little serious here. Your personality and your character defines who you are. If you're out hacking at night in a bad way and then doing pen testing during the day for your company, you should know better than to do that at night. Anyway, that's just me, okay? I tend to think character is important as well as your security abilities. All right, there are 3 main security protocols that I have some definitions here for, hitherto for at the blog. These are actually pulled from cyware.com, CYWARE.com, and it distinguishes the difference between HTTPS, Hypertext Transmission Protocol, S is secure, okay, SSL, secure socket layers, and TLS, which is transport layer security, okay? Do you have your buzzwords down for the week? That's what we're talking about here. All right, HTTPS is probably the one you are most familiar with as a regular web user, because you know that if you type HTTPS in your browser, it is a secure layer, and your transmission of text is encrypted in a basically, we'll call it an encrypted tunnel, okay, for lack of better. All right, that would be useful for like if you're doing financial transactions. Don't do any financial transactions with just HTTP, because it can be intercepted on the web and people can read your passwords and your banking information and whatever, and that would be bad, okay? So at least HTTPS gives you some level of security, all right? I'm not saying it's the be-all and end-all, all right? But, matter of fact, just to give you a quick commercial, I would recommend that if you're going to do banking transactions online, why don't you use a VPN, all right? And you know, of course, we recommend IPVanish VPN. We have information right here at the bottom of the screen on IPVanish VPN, which we have a special sale on, shall we say, from IPVanish. And so you can take advantage of that. You can go to drbill.tv, drbill.tv/VPN. Okay, capital V, capital P, capital N, VPN, like it says there on the screen. At any rate, that would be the way to do it. At least then you know you've got an encrypted tunnel betwixt you and your bank or whoever you're dealing with, okay? Be safe out there, folks. All right, anyway, HTTPS, that's at least a level of security, all right? And it's being kind of forced on website owners like myself. drbill.tv, for instance, is a website. If you don't have your site secured with HTTPS, then your rankings in the Google search engine are going to drop. That's just something Google has decided to do. I can understand it. All right, give them credit for that. But at any rate, other search engines may be beginning to do the same thing, but I know Google does. By default, HTTP uses port 80, while HTTPS uses port 443. Different port, and it basically is encrypted. The data through the pipe, so to speak, is encrypted. All right, how is it done? Well, the website has an SSL certificate. Okay, SSL. What, you may ask, is that all about? Well, that is a secure socket layer. It was created originally by Netscape Communications Corporation in 1994. And it's designed to create a secure internet communication pipe, as I call it, for your websites. Okay, it requires an SSL certificate, a certificate which is connected, shall we say, into the website, and then that allows the HTTPS protocol to work through or for that website. Now, Transport Layer Security TLS is a renamed version of SSL 3.1. There's been different versions, and it came into existence in 1999. It is used for a lot of different things. Email, a lot of data transfer like FTP is done through a TLS certificate link or secure link. It establishes a secure connection with encryption, and it allows a handshake protocol exchange to take place. TSL record protocol and TLS handshake protocol. I'm having a hard time with words. Words are interesting. All right, next item is another Cyware.com brief mini article posting that is talking about the difference, understanding the difference between risk, threat, and vulnerability. You say, Dr. Bill, why are you going into all this? I'll tell you in just a moment. Let's get past this first. Vulnerabilities refer to weaknesses in systems or programs that can be exploited to gain further access to an asset. Hard to say. At any rate, vulnerabilities occur. For instance, if Windows has a vulnerability, that's what a patch usually does, is patch that vulnerability so that hackers can't get into your system through that particular access means. Okay? Cyber threats refer to cybersecurity circumstances or events that can result in harm to a target organization. A cyber threat to an organization is when they basically target a particular company or a particular individual. That's rarer, but usually a company, and it becomes a threat against that company. All right, vulnerabilities. We talked about cyber threats. We briefly talked about risks. There's lots of risks. I laugh, but I'm really not laughing on the inside. Things like people using password as their password is a risk, particularly if they are a person that has some responsibility within a given company. Okay? I've been a system administrator for now 35 years. Yes, indeed. And we've had a lot of instances where cybersecurity was compromised by a person being, shall we say, stupid. Yes. Using the month for the password. If it's January, they say January is their password. I kid you not. Okay? I've seen it. I've dealt with it. I've beaten people figuratively over it as a system administrator. Please use a good password, not your pet's name. You talk about your pet all day around the office, and then people say, let's try the pet's name for their password, and guess what? It works. Dumb, I'm telling you, dumb. At any rate, many other things along that line. Risks. Social engineering, I mentioned that a while ago. Somebody walks up, to the desk of a particular company and says, hi there, I'm so-and-so with the such-and-such department, and I left my key card at home. Will you badge me in? And if they're brazen enough to do that, most of the time, the hapless person at the front desk will say, sure, let me help you out. And they badge them in. That's an example of social engineering. It's also an example of stupidity, but you know what I'm saying. And the guy at the front desk is the one that gets in trouble because he shouldn't have done it. Even if he knew the guy. Don't do it. There are other risks. Things like SQL injection. There you go. There's one for you. SQL injection. SQL is a, shall we say, programming language, okay? It's a structured query language, and it's how databases communicate and talk within that database and so forth. They use a language, like BASIC or Pascal. In the programming world, well, SQL is a database programming language, for lack of better. I'm being a little broad here, okay? But at any rate, you understand, SQL injection vulnerability allows people that know SQL to send a SQL query to let's say a forum on the web, and if that forum doesn't handle that SQL query correctly or well, and if there's a vulnerability in the code, then they can potentially get into it and create havoc within the database or whatever that they're trying to get into. And you'll hear a lot about SQL injection issues that come up. These are all risks. Yes, they are. Now, why do I mention all these things? Because hackers have been trying to attack my servers. Now, here's the thing. I have an ECSA, which is an EC Commerce security engineer, or administrator, I should say, administrator cert. I have a security analyst cert from CIW, which is Certified Internet Webmaster. I'm a master certified Internet Webmaster. These are all certifications. It's annoying, but even my websites, people are trying to hack. And just torrents of attacks and DDoS, which is distributed denial of service, and malware attacks, and all these different things. And over the last couple of months, it's kept me very busy, which is why I haven't been able to do as many shows as I'd like to do. I've been busy fighting off these bad guys. Now, finally, it takes a while sometimes to find the problem, the hole, the issue, okay? But I found it. And I patched it. I won't tell you what it is because that in and of itself could be clues. But I fixed it, and the attacks have subsided. And I'm sleeping at night now. Which is a good thing. It's generally a good thing to sleep at night. Anyway. But it's frustrating. And these people, if there's ever anybody that needs to be up against the wall when the revolution comes, which is a Hitchhiker's reference if you are a geek, then it's the malware guys and the hacking people, the bad ones. The good ones do it for a good reason and they're okay. But I'm talking about the bad hats. That was earlier. Black hats. Yes, I still have my sense of humor. Even after all of these attacks, I managed to retain my sense of humor. But your friendly neighborhood computer curmudgeon has been annoyed of late by all these attacks. And so I thought I would give us just a little refresher on security issues, which is why I thought it would be useful to do this in today's show. Okay? So, I've just had a hard time with things of late. Not because I couldn't find the issue and fix it. I did. But it was like you're fighting to hold back all the water as it's splashing through a hole in the dam and trying to build another dam behind it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep things safe while I'm trying to fix the underlying issue. And it took a little while, but I did it. And I feel better now. But I wanted to share all of this with you and encourage you, please, surf safely on the web. Okay? Take precautions. Minimize the risks. You'll appreciate it. Now, one final thing. Disney Plus user account info for many users, not all, but many, are already for sale on the dark web. Now, what does that mean? Typically, it means a couple of things. One, people are reusing passwords from other websites that have been hacked against Disney Plus accounts and finding they can get in. Okay? That would be user stupidity. Okay? I'm being just blunt here. Don't use passwords from one website or account to another. Yeah, but Dr. Bill, you have so many accounts. How do I keep up with all those passwords? A password manager like LastPass. Okay, that's the way to go. You've heard me say that before. All right, that's one way they could have gotten into these accounts. Another way is perhaps, just perhaps, Disney hasn't secured their web servers as well as they should have. Shocking, I know. I mean, after all, the mouse has lots of money. Indeed. But he may not have hired the right people to secure Disney Plus. I don't know. I'm not casting any aspersions. I don't know the answer to this. I just know that there are accounts for sale on hacking forums in the dark web. The dark web. It always sounds so deep and dark and mysterious. It's basically just like, you know how there's parts of town you don't want to go into because it's kind of iffy from a security perspective? There's parts of the World Wide Web that are that way too. You don't want to go there, okay? And yet they exist. And a lot of script kiddies, which are kids that get scripts off the web from the dark web usually, and use them to try to hack websites. Now, it turned out that the hackers trying to attack my websites were from China, India, and Mumbai. How do you know, Dr. Bill? I have my ways. Okay? But they have been thwarted. At any rate, don't reuse passwords. Disney, protect your web servers. Disney Plus users, change your password now. A lot of us have signed up for Disney Plus. I'm one of them. I wanted to see The Mandalorian, which actually I'm kind of liking. So, but be careful out there, as they used to say on Hill Street Blues. Come on, folks. You gotta do it. Well, we've run a little long on this particular netcast, but that's okay. You need this information. All right? Go forth, my friends, and enjoy the World Wide Web, but be safe, okay? Do it for me, your old doctor. All right? All right, remember until next time that the doctor is out of here.
Dr. Bill, the Computer Curmudgeon, is a production of DrBillDaily.net with all the honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining.